Okay, it's going to be a catch up on some NXT and AEW shows. A lot of these took place months ago, so I felt like this was the best way to do these videos, just to do a combination video for this one. But yeah, the first show I want to talk about is called Worlds Collide. Took place back on January 25th, Houston, Texas, at the Toyota Center where the Houston Rockets play. And yeah, I totally slept on this show. I really wasn't that engaged with the WWE at the end of last year going into the new year. So that's probably why I totally, missed this show. But yeah, this was great stuff. I like the fact that it was done on U.S. soil, but at this time you had the United Kingdom NXT guys, going up against the American NXT guys. And, I never really, paid much attention to the Worlds Collide, shows from last year. When you look back at it, it looks like they were broken up into different, parts. Like they don't look like they were like shows that were over 2 hours long. Some of them were like 50, one of them was like a half hour. So it looked kind of weird how it was broken up, but this was like a 2.5 hour show. Excellent show right here. A lot of people told me to check it out. And yeah, I mean, I definitely slept on this show. I did a bad job with the top 10 pro wrestling matches of the year. This show featured a lot of matches, or a couple matches that should have made that list. So yeah, man, you know what? Let me just talk about the main event first. It's a very attractive main event. You had Imperium, which is Walter's stable. Yeah, so you had Walter, Fabian Ackner, Marcel Barthel, and Alexander Wolf of Imperium, taking on the Undisputed Era of Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong. All right, so one of the issues with the match is someone actually got knocked out in Imperium in like the first couple of minutes. So it ended up being more of a, 4-on-3 handicap match, but it was still great stuff though, man. I'll tell you, I thought, a lot of people pronounce it Walter in the United States, but you hear Nigel pronounce it. He pronounces it Walter. So I had no idea, but maybe in the UK, the W is, pronounce it with a V sound for whatever reason. But hey, it's not a big deal. I thought Walter looked amazing in this match. I thought he was the MVP. He really had a Kabashi-like type of presence here. I just enjoyed the back and forth between him and especially Roderick Strong. I thought Strong really brought his A game. He delivered a beautiful angle slam through the announce table. This got really chaotic. The fact that one of the guys got eliminated early because of injury, it didn't really bring the match down at all, really. I thought this just had a lot of intensity. It just felt like a huge fight. I mean, very rarely, especially in NXT, do you have two, monumental stables like this. And the timing was right. If they didn't do it then, who knows when they would have done this. So thank God they were able to cash in on this before everything went down. So yeah, that was a beautiful 8-man tag match. I thought it was great stuff. I believe Walter actually got the pinfall. Looking back on it. Also, the Rhea Ripley Toni Storm match, it was pretty good. This wasn't Rhea Ripley's best performance. I would say that Toni Storm looked better here than in her match at Cardiff against Kaylee Ray. Ripley actually hits the sort of a pump handle slam lariat to get the pinfall. Once again, just not a. I need to check out to see some of the matches where Rhea Ripley really got over because, some of the ones that I've seen, I just can't say I've been like really impressed by her. But, I still think she's a good wrestler. I really do think she has an incredible look. I just, I need to check out Rhea Ripley's match against Shayna Baszler at the end of the year. I got to check that out. But yeah, also on the show, probably the match of the night was Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa taking on Moustache Mountain of Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. I'll tell you, that's the sign of that's the sign of chemistry right here. When you break up two guys, they have a epic feud like Johnny and Tommaso had, and the chemistry was so strong that you felt compelled to bring them back. And yeah, I just thought this was an awesome match. I'm just sold on Tyler Bate. I mean, he is incredible. There was just so many high spots where you thought it was over, and then Tommaso would just counter it at the last second into his own pinfall. The double team work with Gargano and Tommaso to get the pinfall was an awesome ending here. This is an incredible match. Someone actually did a list of the top matches of the year so far, and I think this was in his top 2 or top 3. So that speaks volumes to how good that match was. So some people actually prefer this match over the AEW Revolution tag match. So that's saying a lot right there. Probably the match that really, got me excited here was the four-way match. This really reminded me of the Chikara King of Trios 2009 four-way. It really did. So you had Jordan Devlin, who really stole the show, taking on Angel Garza. This might have been one of Angel Garza's last NXT matches. Isaiah Swerve Scott, really talented black dude. If you haven't seen him yet, I thought he looked great in that match. He took on Johnny Gargano at the Bash as well. Travis Banks also in that match. He looked awesome there. But I'll tell you, Jordan Devlin, they've been comparing him to HBK. Part of the reason is I think Sean actually said that he's really high on him. And at the same time, he came out and said I think everybody was a big Shawn Michaels fan. But yeah, I mean, just some of the stuff he did in this match. There was a spot where he actually got knocked out of the ring and then he pulled himself back into the ring and did a DDT. That's what Sean loves. He loves guys that are innovative and just try different things. And yeah, he looked awesome in that match. That match was incredible. Not quite as, I'm not going to say it was as good as that Chikara match, but yeah, I mean, it really did remind me of that, same kind of thing. Fatal four-way match, gets about 10 to 12 minutes and just, ultimately delivers. Also, the other match, you have Finn Balor taking on Ilija Dragunov. And another great showing from Dragunov right here. Finn Balor really let him, do his thing. I really thought, Balor made him look strong. He came off very impressive. He does some beautiful coast to coast. He's very athletic. Just great stuff there. But the finish, Balor really, brought back the eye of the tiger. And I guess Balor actually turned heel at this point because the ending, he just came off like a legit heel. Like he just went for the kill. A lot of nasty facial expressions from Finn Balor. So that was a great opener right here. So every single match on this show was solid. I'd probably say the worst match was the Rhea Ripley match, but that was still good. But yeah, Worlds Collide. Don't sleep on the show. I thought it was excellent, man. For 2.5 hours, just incredible stuff. All right, the next show I want to talk about is NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2. The show took place back at the beginning of the year, January 12th. It was a beautiful show that really set up the Worlds Collide main event. But yeah, just great stuff on this show. You had Tyler Bate taking on Jordan Devlin, which was an incredible match. This is definitely the match of the night. This is easily a top 10 match of the year, I would say, throughout the whole world. I thought it was that good. I mean, the ending of the match, you had Triple H, William Regal, Johnny Saint, giving this match a standing ovation. And, the crowd would just, they just wouldn't let up. I mean, they Tyler Bate got a huge ovation by the end of this match. But I'll tell you, Jordan Devlin, man, he was awesome here. He just does a lot of interesting maneuvers. He does a beautiful Spanish fly. He's very innovative, very, very innovative. Also, one of his finishers, he basically goes for like an angle slam, but then he converts it into a backdrop driver, kind of like a Morishima-like backdrop driver. It's just something to see, man. The guy's extremely talented. And once again, Tyler Bate just rocks the house, ricocheting off the ropes with the clotheslines and all the corkscrew splashes off the top rope. He's just really fun to watch. This is just, two little guys just going out there and just rocking the house with their athleticism, their skill set. So this is something I think everyone should go out of their way to see. All right, the other match that really got my attention was the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the UK Tag Championships. You had Gallus, you had Imperium, you had the Grizzled Young Veterans. Also, you had Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. Really good ladder match right here. I would say that the one from NXT Takeover 25, definitely a little bit more of a spot fest, probably had a hotter crowd. But this one, just the ending had some really good drama. I really thought, especially the Imperium spot where the guy's actually hopping on the ladder, to move back underneath the belts. I thought that was cool. I thought, Gallus actually did some beautiful, sense of urgency spears where the ladder broke. I thought that was good stuff. Grizzled Young Veterans, the one guy, what's his name? James Drake hit a beautiful 450 for an awesome spot. Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, they actually did a double swanton off the top of the ladder. So yeah, the match definitely had its moments. I just felt like the last, maybe 5 to 8 minutes were spectacular here. I mean, at first it was just like, too many tag teams. It was a little bit tough just to get it going, but once it got going, really, really good stuff there. Definitely the second best match of the night. Also, the main event for this show, you had Walter taking on Joe Coffey for the United Kingdom World Championship here. So Walter versus Joe Coffey. I believe Joe Coffey is actually part of Gallus. But this match right here, I felt like they had everything in their corner here. They had a good crowd. They got a lot of time. They had a good video package. They had interference. They had referee bumps. I thought, the booking-wise, they were giving everything that they needed to succeed. I don't know. I just felt like the match was a little dry for my personal taste. It was just kind of a dry matchup for me. Now, the good thing about it was a great slugfest. I thought Joe Coffey brought it in terms of his, elbow blows, forearms, just a lot of vicious blows. It just felt like a war. It felt like a slugfest. There was a lot of interference here from Imperium. There was some good selling by Joe Coffey. There was an incredible referee. The referee bump was the spot of the match, in my opinion, when Walter accidentally kicked the referee. That was really cool. But yeah, lots of interference. A dominant submission win by Walter to end the show, and then the show ends with Imperium and the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole trash talking Walter. This really must have got people excited for the Worlds Collide show. Also, the triple threat match is really good. Kaylee Ray, Toni Storm, and Piper Niven. Piper Niven's very, she's carrying a lot of weight, but I thought she was good. And it's nice to see, them give opportunities to girls that are, carrying a little bit extra weight. It's not like they can't work. I mean, the girl was good. Toni Storm looked good in this match. She busted out some, beautiful moonsaults. She actually looked more athletic there. Just really good stuff. I thought this was excellent stuff. Definitely, I would definitely say better than the match where Kaylee Ray won the championship back at Cardiff. Really good three-way match right there. The Eddie Dennis and Trent Seven match to open up the show featured a incredible spot. It didn't go too long, but there was a razor's edge out of the ring. And just a nasty bump right there. So that was a pretty cool way to open up the show with that, having a match that dragged too much. So yeah, I thought Blackpool 2 was an excellent show. I'll probably say Cardiff was the better takeover because of the main event. But yeah, this definitely had some great stuff. And Tyler Bate versus Jordan Devlin is definitely going to be a match of the year candidate without a doubt. All right, so the next show I want to talk about is the debut of AEW's Dynamite back October 2nd, 2019. I actually watched this whole show without the commercial breaks, the 2-hour version of it. And yeah, I would definitely say it's worth checking out. This was definitely a pay-per-view quality show. So when I look back at the debut of Dynamite, my one gripe with it is that they had the debut of AEW during Wild Card Baseball, the 2 wildcard baseball games. I think it was the Oakland and Tampa Bay game, if I'm not mistaken. And I know in sports right now, the thing is you don't need to worry about competing with baseball because baseball is not competition because it has more of an older demographic. Well, that's true, but I don't know. To me, I feel like wild card weekend in baseball is like, one of the most exciting times of the year for sports. So I do think it was a mistake for this to be the debut of AEW. But I did see most of the show live. But some of it I definitely did miss. And with this, without commercial breaks, I would definitely say it definitely felt like a pay-per-view worthy show. So if you haven't seen the whole show yet, I would definitely recommend checking it out. We had a lot of, 4+ star matches on the show. So Cody versus Sammy Guevara. I thought this was good. I thought this was an awesome way to open up AEW. I love, Brandy's facial expressions at Sammy. She kind of had some of those facial expressions, like she kind of likes him, but kind of finds him annoying. So it was cool to see that. But yeah, Cody and Sammy Guevara, they had a great matchup here. Crowd was excellent. Cody actually made Sammy look good. I thought it had a good finish from what I remember. And the aftermath with, Sammy trying to shake hands and then Jericho comes out. They were building to Jericho and Cody at full gear. They did an excellent job of setting that up. So I just thought this whole segment came off great, especially when Cody went to hug Tony Schiavone. I just thought it had a lot of meaning to it. And I just thought this was a beautiful way to start off Dynamite just in general. All right, next up you had MJF taking on Brandon Cutler. Yeah, so the MJF promo, I thought it was edgy. I thought it was effective. It made you hate him. Brandon Cutler. I can't remember if this is the same Cutler from the Cutler brothers. I'd have to go back and watch. Brandon actually got a little bit of offense in, but ultimately this is more about just, establishing MJF as a top heel. Then from there, you had the Southern Cal Uncensored segment and the Lucha Brothers. You had, what's his name? You had, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and then Scorpio Sky did an awesome, Barack Obama impression. And then they set up, there was a promo that set up the Lucha Brothers in the tag team title tournament, tag team championship tournament. So that was more of a segment. Then you had Hangman Page taking on Pac. I mean, I wouldn't say this reached the 4-star level, but it was a dominant victory for Pac. I think Hangman actually got a lot better since then, when you watch this match back. But, still good stuff. Incredible spots from both guys. I believe Pac actually won by submission with the Devastator. But yeah, for a television match, I thought this was exceptional. And then we had the match of the night. And I'm surprised no one's really talking about this match. I think when you watch this match back without any commercials, maybe it was highly edited. I don't remember actually watching this during the debut of Dynamite, but you had Nyla Rose taking on Rio. I believe this was when Rio actually won the AEW Women's Championship and came off great. Nyla Rose came off like a beast here. She really did. She hit her guillotine, leg drop. She looked dominant, but she couldn't put Rio away though. And then Rio just had some amazing, she's just able to use her little body and speed, and was able to really, get the, I guess leverage is the word I'm looking for. Like she was so fast and nimble that she was actually able to get good leverage on Nyla Rose. And yeah, this made for a great match. It got a "This is awesome" chant, which sounded credible. This is just a nice surprise to me. I don't remember this match getting any buzz, any feedback. I can't remember exactly how many commercial breaks it got, but when you watch this match unedited, it came off really, really well. So check out Nyla Rose versus Rio. This might have been the best women's match in AEW so far, but I'm not sure. All right, next up, the main event. Yeah, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega taking on Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz. All right, this was not a great main event. The main event had too many responsibilities. Cody had to come out, and Jake Hager had to make his debut, and then you had Moxley and Omega brawling, and Young Bucks actually worked really well with Santana and Ortiz here. Jericho was made out to look dominant here, but ultimately him and Cody, this was about establishing the main events for Full Gear, and just setting the tone to let the audience know that AEW had legit, big money feuds. So, it wasn't a great main event, but I felt like it did its job. But yeah, the first Dynamite was really, really great stuff. I would say Cody, Sammy Guevara, and the Nyla Rose match against Rio. Those are the two best matches of the night. So if you haven't seen the whole show without the uninterrupted version of it, I would definitely check it out. Okay, next up I want to talk about AEW Fight for the Fallen 2020. So, last year back in 2019, it was a pay-per-view. It featured, Kenny Omega and CIMA. Haven't seen the show yet. I was actually thinking about reviewing it as part of this video, but I'm not sure. That might be the last show I watch, but, maybe I'll add it on at the end of the video. But, with the Fight for the Fallen on Dynamite, Fyter Fest was a 2-night event, and Fyter Fest was okay. I mean, I didn't think it was great. I'm going to talk more about that a little bit later when I talk about the Great American Bash. But yeah, with Fight for the Fallen, we finally got the Jon Moxley Brian Cage match. And, there wasn't a spectacular match. I don't think this was a great showing from Cage. It was very submission-oriented. Really nothing too memorable about it besides the finish. So Taz actually throws the towel in while, Moxley actually is applying a submission to the injury of Brian Cage, where he had a, repaired, I believe it was a repaired tricep or repaired bicep. So, Moxley had him down on the mat, looked like he was in a lot of pain, and then Taz just threw in the towel. And, it's interesting, though. I don't think the Brian Cage and Taz relationship, it's not established enough to do like a split or for Brian Cage to even be mad at Taz. You know, you've seen this done very well in the past with AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels probably being the best example of it, of kind of a betrayal. Usually when the towel was thrown in, the guy would get pissed off at the manager. But in this situation, it's Taz. They're trying to tell the story of Taz really protecting his investment and, getting even with Moxley at a later date. So it definitely sets up a rematch. I didn't think this was a great main event, though. I don't know if this was a great way to showcase Brian Cage on Dynamite. But yeah, it was a pretty creative finish. And all I can say is I'm really happy with Taz's mic work in that feud right there. Also on this show right here, Cody took on Sonny Kiss in the opening match. The match came off pretty cool. It really did. The highlight was definitely the aftermath with Cody embracing, Sonny Kiss. It was just, Cody's doing a good job of really, even though he's defeating a lot of the talent, he's doing a good job of, really going out of his way to show respect and to put, you don't have to, get beat to put guys over. Cody's putting over guys and he's still going over. So it's a win-win situation for Cody. So I like the opener there against Sonny Kiss. He definitely has a unique look, obviously, for obvious reasons. And also what really stole the show was Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks taking on the Jurassic Express of Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. Oh my God, Marco Stunt looked incredible here. I mean, some dangerous stuff. Even JR was like, what a dangerous maneuver. I mean, he pulled off some incredible variations of the Canadian Destroyer where it just looked very, very dangerous. I mean, one time it looked like Mac Jackson, scraped his, head on the mat. I mean, just crazy stuff there. Omega's suplexes just look vicious. I mean, with a guy like Marco Stunt, it's like wrestling a wrestling buddy, because he's so small and so quick. And Jungle Boy, I'll tell you what, Jungle Boy getting better and better. Yeah, he's getting so good. He really impressed me a lot in this match. And, the Jurassic Express, definitely a fun tag team. This is a nice little surprise. I would definitely say that this was better than any of, Omega's tag matches on Fyter Fest, without a doubt. All right, the Nightmare Sisters actually got a squash there with Allie and Brandy Rhodes. That's the first time I've seen them team together. Oh, what else was here? You had the FTR and the Lucha Brothers in a tag match. Don't remember much about it. I'm not even going to rate this show as far as the actual score. But what you have to, what you're going to remember about the show is the finish with Taz throwing in the towel, and you'll remember the the Elite 6-man tag match. That's really all you need to remember about the show. And then Cody, it's just another notch under his belt for the that unfinished AEW TNT Championship. Okay, and next up we have the NXT Great American Bash. All right, so this went head-to-head with Fyter Fest on July 1st and July 8th. All right, so the one thing I forgot to talk about for the Fight for the Fallen review was the Jericho. So Jericho did a great segment here with Orange Cassidy. Jericho just developed a new T-shirt, a new catchphrase. He's calling himself the Demo God. I don't know if anyone has the actual ratings for the two main events, and I'm talking about Jericho, Orange Cassidy, and Adam Cole, Keith Lee. I'd like to know the actual numbers. But, to be honest, guys, I don't think television ratings mean that much anymore, especially with the WWE Network. They put the Great American Bash, the full show, on that Friday. You don't have to wait that long for the NXT shows to get uploaded. And it's totally different now. The AEW stuff, TNT has the rights to that for a longer time. So yeah, I think it's unfair to compare. But hey, Jericho basically said the 18 to 49 demographic watched the Jericho Orange Cassidy match over the Keith Lee Adam Cole match. But both were good matches. I'd probably say Keith Lee Adam Cole was the better main event. Looking back on it. But yeah, you had that great segment on Fight for the Fallen where Jericho actually gets splashed with orange juice. Kind of like the same thing DX did to Vince McMahon. Obviously, when DX did it to Vince, everyone thought it was corny. Everyone probably loves what the Jericho segment with Orange Cassidy. What made that segment cool was the towel with Orange Cassidy's, body on it, face on it. That's what really made the segment for me. And so that was a great segment. So Jericho's calling himself the Demo God now. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of thought it was annoying that WWE did a Great American Bash to go head to head with Fyter Fest. I think competition's good. I think it's healthy. I just wish, I would have liked to see Adam Cole and Keith Lee, on a different show where, they weren't competing against the pay-per-view, so you could devote your whole attention to it as it was happening. By the time I saw Keith Lee and Adam Cole, it's hard to avoid spoilers. Every time you go on YouTube after a big title victory, people upload videos, new NXT champion Keith Lee. So I think a lot of people got spoiled before they had a chance to see the actual replay when it was uploaded to the WWE Network that Friday. But yeah, let me just get right down to night one on the show. All right, so the main event of night one was Lo Shirai. How did you say Io Shirai or Lo Shirai? I should really know. I don't. For some reason, I can't remember. But, Shirai taking on Sasha Banks in the main event. Yeah, it didn't get as much time as Sasha and Asuka. I actually thought Sasha and Asuka worked well together. See, people friggin' hate the finishes to the last pay-per-view, the horror show, Extreme Rules. But yeah, Sasha and Lo Shirai, it was definitely an attractive matchup. It was definitely, you could argue that it was somewhat of a dream match. The finish with, Shirai actually hitting the moonsault as Asuka, makes a save with Bayley interfering. I thought it was a good main event. Definitely something to see. The Dexter Loomis match. All right, so the military-looking dude with the mustache, his name is Dexter Loomis, and he takes on Roderick in the strap match. Yeah, the strap match is all right. This wasn't anything, nothing to rush out of your way to see here. Seeing Roderick lose to Dexter Loomis kind of made me depressed. Dexter, he really reminds me of like the Terminator guy from Judgment Day. The Robert Patrick version, with the liquidation Terminator. Combination of him and like a sort of like a Skinner type. Like if you mix those two together, like I feel like Dexter Loomis is like a good. I don't know. I mean, he's not. You could tell he doesn't have a lot of experience in terms of wrestling. He's got a unique look. He actually looked pretty good here against Roderick. I wouldn't say he looked bad. Him and Roderick did a good job to carry him in this match. But to see Roderick go over, even though he got help from Bobby Fish, it's just not a good sign for Roderick. I just don't know how far Roderick is going to go after he's done with NXT, or if he ever moves on from NXT. I just don't know. So that kind of depressed me. Rhea Ripley, had a handicap match. Timothy Thatcher actually took on Oni Lorcan. And, Tegan actually defeated Candice, Dakota, and Mia Yim to get a title shot the very next week against Lo Shirai. All right, so on night two, let me just talk about Keith Lee and Adam Cole. I thought it was a good match. You know what it reminded me of? It really reminded me of Adam Cole, Michael Elgin, when Cole lost the belt to Elgin. I believe it was at Best in the World 2014. Kind of like the same atmosphere, like not a great crowd, not really in front of a large, enthusiastic crowd, but kind of a predictable, victory here. Especially Adam Cole. I wasn't paying attention, but the Undisputed Era, I believe they were banned from ringside. So it's tough. It's tough to make a match like this work, but I'll give them credit, man. To make a larger, bigger man that's a babyface going up against a heel that's, 2 times smaller than the challenger. I think it's tough to make a match like that work. But it came off great here. Keith Lee actually hit some beautiful, power moves here. Great offense from him. Cole still looks strong here. There was just a lot of times where, Cole hit the Canadian Destroyer, the Shining Wizards, and a lot of trash talking from Cole. He's like, "Is that all you got, champ? Or can I call you champ?" I thought that was cool. That was a pretty good part. But yeah, kind of a predictable match. The ending where Keith Lee wins, very convincing. Really dominant looking finish right there. Also on night two, you had the debut of Mercedes Martinez. She looked kind of evil, kind of vicious there, so it was cool to see her. The 6-man tag match with Legado del Fantasma taking on Drake Maverick and Breezango. I thought that was cool. That was a good showing from them. This is like a Mexican, kind of like a Mexican corporate stable where they're trying to legitimize Lucha Libre as not being just a bunch of spots. That's what it seems like to them. So they actually have... let me try. Who's their cruiserweight champion? Is it Raul Mendoza? I believe it is. I believe he's the NXT cruiserweight champion right now. Johnny Gargano actually took on Isaiah Swerve Scott. That was a solid match right there. Gargano won with the springboard DDT, but he actually let Isaiah shine a little bit. I thought Isaiah looked a little bit better in that four-way match at Worlds Collide. Trying to think of what else was on this show. Candice LeRae actually took on Mia Yim in a street fight to open up the show right there. And so Keith Lee and Adam Cole was definitely worth checking out. And the Sasha Banks match on night one was pretty cool as well.